Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spread Zone, the only podcast dedicated to making you our faithful, dear Spread Zone listeners some serious cash. My name is Rizz, alongside the best in the business, the absolute best in the business, Anthony Stalter and Tim McKernan. Gentlemen, hello. And as always, the show is brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. Build your bankroll right alongside us by using the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Best odds, great promos, and live bet as the action unfolds. So let's get right into it. We will discuss Week 11 college football. We will discuss Week 10 NFL. But segment one, my favorite, the recap.
Yeah, the
recap from the week before. Tim, was it all bad news?
Rizz, you're the big winner for the week.
Oh my God, is that a first?
4-3.
Nice job. 4-3. Oh my God.
4-3. That gets you the win. It wasn't overwhelming either way. Anthony and I both went 3-4. You went 4-3. I will say this is of note. We all got our locks right. And that hasn't happened in a while. And I will also point this out. Our records on our locks of the week. Anthony and Rizz are 5-5. I am 6-3. Nice. And so we're faring decently in the locks category. Overall, Anthony, you have the lead, 40-35, 53% against the number. I'm starting to get into a danger zone, 37-35, 51% against the number.
How am I doing, Tim? Am I in the danger?
I'm glad you
asked.
In the danger
zone?
You're climbing.
You are climbing. 28-41, 41%
All right.
against the number, but you got this week's win. Momentum.
We just build on that.
Right.
What were the big surprises as far as our picks go?
Anthony and I were talking about it before we started the podcast here. Anthony didn't feel like he had any real bad beats, so you didn't get any sweats. You were on Cincinnati against Utah. They got blown off the field.
Miami, the Dolphins got crushed on Thursday night.
That's right. You were on Michigan against Purdue. Michigan won, but they never really close to covering against Purdue. The Chiefs and Bills was relatively...
Yeah, but, Buffalo, I was on the wrong side.
Yeah, you were on the
points
Chiefs.
On that?
I laid them with the Chiefs.
Chiefs, he had -1. Rizz, you were a nice play on Ole Miss against South Carolina. Yeah. The Duke +3.5 against Clemson was kind of a sneaker play.
More Duke to come.
Oh.
That's a tease. It's called a tease in the industry.
That's exactly right. You came up on the short side of it. Although I have to tell you, you had Vanderbilt +1.5. That game kicked off, and you would have covered. Vanderbilt wound up getting either 3.5 or 4, depending on what time you would have wagered it with their comeback late. You were on the Bears against the Bengals.
That was...
I mean, that's an all-timer there.
You went from how the hell did I lose this to how the hell did I win this?
Did anybody else feel bad for Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco has put up, 40 points?
It's unbelievable what he's doing.
In back-to-back losses?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
He passed for 430 yards?
I had my guy, Joe Flacco says. 400 and something, four tutties. Put on a show against the Jets, put on a show against the Bears, nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wondering what's going on in Cleveland when they can just go, okay, we'll pass him. And to Mike Tomlin's credit, the moment that trade happened, he goes, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And sure enough, he's been put up.
But Tim, you got the worst of it. You had legit bad beats.
I had Georgia, Florida over 50.5. Georgia's quarterback is running into the end zone, and he then kneels down on one, which would have covered Georgia.
Rizz, he's selling it short. The closest person to Gunnar Stockton on that play was a fan.
I think you might be right.
In the first row.
Yeah.
That's how clean he got out of that break. He could have waltzed into.
Did you watch it?
I was watching it, and here's the reason. God. This is kind of getting into the weeds, but it's a D-Gen fest, so let's talk about it. I was out with a buddy of mine earlier in the day, and he had a 4-game parlay and had placed a large amount on this, and the only thing that he needed to hit was Georgia -7.
Oh, that didn't hit either.
So that didn't hit either. The side and the total didn't hit when Gunnar Stockton nailed it. So I felt much worse for him than for my play.
Which, of course, is the right play. I mean, Gunnar Stockton,
it's the right football
it's
play.
Smart. The Auburn running back earlier this year against Vanderbilt didn't do that. And it didn't cost him, but the time was running out. Meaningless fourth and 1. Get the first down, kneel. He didn't. He went into the end zone. Oh, wow. And it was a front door cover for Alabama.
Boy, so he screwed people on 2 fronts.
Yes.
I wonder if he needs security.
Oh, my. Brutal. And I also had the Chiefs-Bills over, which covers if Matt Prater doesn't hit the upright. But hey, you know what? If you're in the vicinity, because sometimes it's going to work in your favor, sometimes it's not.
Sure, that's a great attitude.
So well, that's a degenerate's attitude. Yeah. That's how you justify placing more wagers.
Well, all right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we will dive headfirst into Week 11 college football. We've got 3 picks to make you some money, and while you're waiting, open up that big, blue, beautiful FanDuel app and get those lines ready. We will be right back on the Spread Zone. All right, we are back on the Spread Zone. It's time to make some money on the college slate, week number 11. So we'll start with Tim. Your first pick, college football.
I've got a couple plays this week in college football, Rizz, that I love, and I'm going to start off with one of them, and my other one will be in my lock of the week. I love, and I mean love, Texas Tech -10 at home against BYU. I can't tell you how much I love it. I think it's a sweat-free play. Texas Tech -10 versus BYU is where I'm going to start things off.
Hey, Tim.
Yes.
Give me number 8, BYU plus.
Oh, my goodness.
10.5 on the road against number 9, Texas Tech.
Wow, what a response.
This is just you don't think that's too many points for a battle between undefeated conference rivals? Listen, I think Texas Tech will win, but I don't think they're going to cover.
I obviously respectfully disagree. The only game Texas Tech lost, they were without their starting quarterback, Baron Morton. He's back. I think BYU is in the Virginia category of smoke and mirrors, and I think Texas Tech makes a statement by beating the living hell out of BYU.
So both Bleacher Report and CBS Sports think this will be a one-score game.
I respectfully disagree with Bleacher Report and CBS Sports.
I don't see them winning by double digits. So
this is a defining moment for us.
Give me the Cougars and the points.
All right. This is a defining moment. Anthony, are you on this game at all?
So when I wanted Texas Tech, and then I looked at the line. I'm like, oh, that's a little too rich.
I loved it, and then I saw the number. I'm like, oh no, they're ahead of.
You paused and then put your foot down.
It doesn't matter.
I paused
40-10,
and I hit the brake. Yeah. So I'm not on this game.
You don't think 10.5 is too much for again?
I do, but I like Texas Tech, so it's one of those deals.
I said Texas Tech will win.
I know, but a lot of times I like to think that the underdog could win if I'm gonna back them.
No, I get that. NFL 3.5-point home underdog. That's a sweet spot. Sure.
I'm off this, but I am.
I'm feeling attacked right now. I don't know.
Well, you are being attacked by Tim.
I am angry as a hornet.
I guess I'm attacking you by not backing. Okay, I'm not backing Tim either.
That's right.
Yeah. My first play is the over 55.5 in the Navy Notre Dame game. I don't know if you guys have kept a watch on the midshipmen, but they allowed 31 points to North Texas, 31 to Air Force, 31 to Temple, 32 to Florida Atlantic, 24 to UAB. Tulsa got them for 23, and Rice, who stinks, well, they only scored 13. But this Navy team's going to give up a bunch. When these two teams meet, Notre Dame usually hangs 40 on them. I'm going to need a little help from Navy. Think we'll get it. I'm going to take the over 55.5 Navy Notre Dame.
All right.
I am on this very same game, Anthony.
Whoa.
However, I am on the side of Notre Dame laying 26.5. I'm telling you, Notre Dame is in a spot. I realize they got to be thrilled. The college football playoff rankings, first edition, have come out, and they're number 10, but they are in a spot where they need to run it up. I think they will put it on Navy, who suffered their first defeat earlier, this past week against North Texas. Jeremiah Love might run for 7,000 yards in one game. Notre Dame minus 26.5 against the midshipmen.
All right, I'm looking at a non-conference game where I think the underdog has a massive advantage through the air. So give me UConn.
Whoa.
Plus 9.5 at home against Duke.
Oh, you're fading your Dukies?
Fading the Blue Devils. The Blue Devils have the second worst defense in the country when it comes to finishing drives, giving up almost 5 points every time an opponent crosses the 40. So I think UConn keeps this close, if not wins outright. I will take the points. UConn Huskies plus 9.5 at home against the Duke Blue Devils.
Intriguing play there, Rizz. Intriguing.
Anthony?
Well, I have backed this team the last couple of weeks.
We're doing it again.
I'm getting more points, and so is Tim. Give me Mississippi State plus
Hail
8.5.
Hail State.
8.5 at home as a home dog against Georgia. Georgia only plays close games, and we know that they won't run up the score. Right, Tim?
We know it. We know it.
Mississippi State comes from behind last week on the road against Arkansas. I think it was their first SEC road win in like 10 years or something. But they could have beaten Texas. They could have beat Florida.
Could have beaten Tennessee. They
could have beaten Tennessee. I mean, they have
cover machines.
They played everybody tough. The only team they didn't cover against in the last month was Texas A&M, who is undefeated and the number 3 team in the nation.
And I believe they were beating them in College Station at the half.
Even
for
better.
the record. Yeah. They were right there.
Cowbells are going to be going.
How many times have you picked Mississippi State?
I think this will be my third straight.
Rizz, that's where my spreadsheets come into play for us.
Oh, there we go.
And
Perfect.
we are littered with Mississippi State.
Tim and I
here.
have taken Mississippi State. You kicked it off, and I was too scared the 1 week, and I kicked myself for it. And I said, you know what?
That was
never
against
again.
Florida.
Never again.
9.5. It is now 4 straight weeks of Mississippi State being on my
All right.
on my sheet as well. So I'm on Mississippi State plus 8.5. Don't you do it. You getting ready to say Georgia?
Is it my turn?
It is.
No.
Oh,
my final pick. I think the wrong team is favored here.
Interesting. What do we
Give
got?
me Florida State plus 2.5 at Clemson. Death Valley is not the fortress it once was, and Clemson has lost, according to my numbers, 6 consecutive home games against Power 4 opponents. Florida State got its swagger back with a blowout win over Wake Forest, and I think they carry the momentum on the road, so I will gladly take the points with the Seminoles. Florida State plus 2.5.
Yeah, Wake Forest finished third in that game last week against Florida State. That was nasty. Yeah, that was ugly.
All right, do you have one?
I've given Texas Tech, Mississippi State, and Notre Dame. Rizz, you've given your plays, which are BYU in response to the Texas Tech play. UConn plus 9.5 against Duke, and Florida State plus 2.5 against Clemson. Anthony and I are riding together on Mississippi State and the over you have on Notre Dame Navy. What is your final college play, sir?
I'm glad I just checked this. Our partners at FanDuel have a 9.5 available, and I'm going to take it. Give me Alabama minus 9.5 against LSU, who just fired Brian Kelly. They have to go to Tuscaloosa now. I know it's a big rivalry game, but Kalen DeBoer crushed them a year ago. This Alabama team is a freight train, and I believe, Tim, they had off last week, correct?
They were off. Both were off.
Well, and yeah, that makes sense because they usually take the bye. Give me Alabama. I'm laying the 9.5. This LSU team's dead in the water.
Is the Brian Kelly hate justified? Man,
He seems like a bad dude.
When they fired that dude, everybody out of the woodwork saying what a bad guy he was.
Well, the first move he made was firing everybody that had like Louisiana ties to the program. People that had been there forever, let them all go, and brought in his own people, which that in and of itself doesn't make you a bad dude, but he clearly didn't understand some of the ties that those people had to the program. And then some of the other stuff that's coming out just is how he treats players and coaching staffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a culture that they really have in high esteem down there on the Bayou, Rizz. He fired the strength and conditioning coach, which is a guy that can have some ties to the community. He then goes to Texas A&M. Texas A&M that beats Brian Kelly and then gets him fired. Sweet, sweet vengeance. End film.
All right, excellent stuff, fellas. All right, that's a wrap on college football. When we come back, we're on to the pros, Week 10 NFL. We got our 3 picks to make and our FanDuel locks of the week. Don't want to miss it. It is the Spread Zone, brought to you by FanDuel. All right, we're back for our final segment of the Spread Zone, brought to you by FanDuel. It's time for the big boys, Week 10 NFL. Let's get right to it. Anthony, you first. We'll start with your first pick.
Okay, boys. I took this team last week. They're actually my childhood team because of Deion Sanders, and normally I fade the ever-living you-know-what out of them, but give me the Falcons plus 6.5 in Germany this week against the Colts. This Falcons team typically does not show up when they're favored. When they have to lay points like they did against the Dolphins or the Panthers, they get waxed. But they beat Buffalo outright. Could have beat New England last week, but the kicker, who's now been released, missed an extra point. Earlier in the year, their Sunday night game against the Vikings, they won outright as an underdog. Give me the 6.5. This Indy team finally didn't look good last week. The pass rush, Daniel Jones got pressured consistently against Pittsburgh. And for the first time in my lifetime, Atlanta has a pretty good pass rush. They can get after them and avoid some of the mistakes. I think this one's close. I don't think the Falcons win, but give me the 6.5. I'll put it in my back pocket.
All right.
This program is riding with Mississippi State and also the Chicago Bears. Both have been featured quite a bit from at least one of us over the last few weeks. Last week, Rizz, you were on the Bears and you were rewarded. I am rolling with the Bears and laying 3.5 against the New York Football Giants.
All right, my first pick, I'm gonna fade a team whose season just might be over. I'm on the Detroit Lions minus 8.5 against the Washington Commanders. How hurt is Jaden Daniels? It's over, right?
The elbow is not. The elbow might not be there right now, Rizz.
So that means the Marcus Mariota experiment is back on. In the 4 losses Mariota has played in, the Commanders are losing by an average of 18.5 points. So this is a perfect buy low spot for a good Lions team that's had some fluky mistakes last week.
The Lions?
The Lions.
Yeah, well, you know what? The Vikings did a nice job of running the ball, and they put some pressure on Jared Goff. Not going to be the case against Washington, who stinks defensively.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points with Detroit. So give me the Lions minus 8.5. Anthony?
So I mentioned New England before. New England did, I think they opened up with 21 points in the first half against Atlanta last week, came out at halftime, and drove right down the field, set up for a field goal, and then got shut down. I think this New England team, look, the NFL season ebbs and flows, right? I think now it's the time to catch some of these teams that were pretty good in September and October and start to fade them. Give me the Bucs minus 2.5 against New England. I realize I'm starting at wide receiver for Tampa. I'm not fast, but I can catch.
And they're rested-ish.
But they're rested. You get Baker Mayfield back in action. And this New England team, again, struggled offensively in the second half last week. I think this is a good buy low on the Bucs, who are still, in my opinion, a top 10 team.
You know what, Tim, put me down for one of those two.
Oh, nice. You're going to take as well. You guys are riding together.
We're riding together on that one.
Plus, we're under the key number, Rizz, which I like. We're not laying the field goal. We're only laying 2.5.
Bucs are coming off a bye week. They got the rest advantage. Patriots have a miserable 4-12-1 record against the spread when they have a rest disadvantage.
Love it.
Dug deep into that one. I think it's a tough spot for the Pats, so I'm on the Bucs with Anthony.
Beautiful.
There it is. Boys riding together. Good news. I'm not with you because I think the podcast is over when we're all on the same team.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's only happened one time, Louisville, Virginia, which was a bad beat.
I would have that weather.
I am on the 49ers at home getting 3.5 against the Rams. Give me the 49ers plus 3.5 against the Rams. I like them to win outright, but the 3.5, that's that sweet spot for a home dog. Give me the 49ers plus 3.5 against the Rams.
They beat them in L.A. Thursday Night Football a couple of weeks. I don't mind that play.
All right, Anthony, your final pick.
My final pick. I think that the market, I think the odds makers, not the market, I think odds makers selling a little short on the Carolina Panthers. They're only laying 5.5 against a bad Saints team that is now starting a rookie in Tyler Shook. Carolina last week goes into Green Bay. Granted, some windy conditions did not favor Green Bay in that regard, but still, double-digit underdog, and the Panthers went outright. Give me the Panthers minus 5.5. You can't run against them, and I think Tyler Shook makes some mistakes. Panthers eventually cover. 5.5 with the Panthers team that I think is actually a wild card contender this year.
All right.
I'm actually on that game as well. I'm just on the over of the Panthers and Saints. I really like the idea of this one being in the 30s. It's at 39.5. And I think you're going to see, because of that run game situation you referenced there and the turnovers, I like this one being one of those old-fashioned, how these two teams score so many points because they're not that great. Over 39.5 Panthers and Saints.
All right, for my final pick, I'm back on a road dog on Monday Night Football. I think the wins this game outright. I'm taking the Eagles plus 2.5 against the Packers.
I like it.
The Packers are banged up, man. Lost Tyler Kraft, lost Matthew Golden. I'm sorry, Tucker Kraft. Matthew Golden. Eagles coming off the bye week, rested, prepared. So give me the Eagles plus 2.5. Against the Packers for my final NFL pick.
I left that one on the cutting room floor, but I gave heavy consideration. I wound up going with the Panthers instead, but I thought about the Eagles. I think the wrong team's favored.
Yeah. All right, let's get our FanDuel Locks of the week done. Our most confident picks. And we were, 3-0 last week?
3-0. 3-0.
Love that. Let's keep it going. Anthony, you first.
I'm going to lay the 4.5 with the Ravens. Ravens finally healthy. It's not just about Lamar Jackson. It's about that defense getting healthy again. They got their guys back last week. I sat there knowing that I was on the wrong side of that Dolphins play. And actually, Miami moved the ball okay.
Yeah.
It's just the pesky thing of actually putting the ball in the end zone that gave Miami some problems. Nonetheless, Vikings coming off this big win, upset win against Detroit. Now they come home. They're reading the tea leaves a little bit, and you got Lamar coming in. I'm laying the 4.5 with the Ravens. The one play on either Saturday or Sunday that I love.
I'm gonna note that you love that.
Love it. That's why
it's why it's in the lock category.
That's why it's in the lock category.
Rizz, this is tough because on this very podcast months ago, I picked Missouri to win the national championship in college basketball, and they nearly got there.
I remember that.
If they got out of the first round, I think it would have been smooth sailing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I have been so high on this play before I even saw the number. The number is immaterial to me because I might go money line hunting. Whoa. But if I'm getting a touchdown and a half, I think Texas A&M is overvalued. I think Missouri, with a new and better quarterback, is undervalued, and they're getting 7.5 at home against Texas A&M. I love
Disclaimer,
Missouri.
he is a Mizzou alum.
Well, I have 8 credit hours left, but I did attend.
Sure.
I did attend the University of Missouri.
Love his Tigers.
That's right. That's exactly right. Tigers plus 7.5 at home against the Aggies.
Are you going to the game?
I am. It'll be my 4th of the year.
Good.
For my FanDuel Lock of the week, I'm on the Buffalo Bills minus 9.5 against the Miami Dolphins. Should I bring AI into this? As well. I'm looking, I did look at the self-learning AI model that CBS Sports has, and it's screaming that this line is off. The AI gives the Bills an A+ rating to win and cover, and not just a small cover either. The model's average simulated score is 36-22 in favor of Buffalo.
Wow. How about that?
So that's a 14-point victory, blowing past the 9.5-point spread. So Rizz and AI are going
Rizz and AI.
The Buffalo Bills minus 9.5. Against the Miami Dolphins is my lock of the week.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Yeah,
listen, I bow down to my AI overlords. They're going to take over. All right. I think that's it, fellas.
The plays are in.
The plays are in. And that's a wrap on this week's Spread Zone. Quick reminder, all our picks are made on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, so make sure you download it today and tail us as we build our bankrolls all season long. For Tim McKernan, Anthony Stalter, my name is Rizz, and may all your bets be winners. It's the Spread Zone.
We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.